Hi, welcome to Road by Culture. I'm your host, Kevin Isley. Today we're going to talk about my trip to Girona. The original inhabitants of Girona were the Iberians. After that, the Romans built a citadel there, and in 507, the Visigoths took over the region. In 715, the Moors came in and conquered the Visigoths, and they became the rulers of the area. And in 785, Charlemagne came in and took the land from the Moors. Okay, I get it. It's old. It's like really old, like Charlemagne old. So let's fast forward to 1997, when the land was beginning to get conquered by cyclists. In 1997, George Hincapie, a part of the U.S. Postal Team, moved to Girona, Spain, because the U.S. Postal Team was mostly made up of American riders, and the team wanted to build a European post to headquarter out of, and they did that in Girona. From 1997 until 2000, U.S. Postal lived in Girona without Lance Armstrong. He was living in Nice. But after his first tour victory in 1999, in 2000, Lance moved to Girona. The reason he says he moved to Girona was to be near his teammates so they could train for another victory in the Tour de France. But the other reason he may have moved to Girona was France and Italy were starting to ramp up their anti-doping campaigns, and Spain was staying very lax. So Lance moved to Girona, Spain, to adopt the biggest doping program in cycling. Regardless of the reasons, Girona is such an amazing city. It is medieval, it is old, and that is why the very popular TV show Game of Thrones films here in Girona at this church. This is just really crazy. I don't watch Game of Thrones. I've never seen an episode, but everybody else seems to be watching it. And if you're a fan of Game of Thrones, you are going to love looking at this church. I watched a couple scenes on YouTube from Game of Thrones. I was like, wow, I was just there. That's totally awesome. Girona is absolutely a beautiful city. It is an old city. And as you walk down the old alleyways and the cobblestones and the bricks on the ground, it is taking you back in time. And how people live in such an old city is really interesting to me, because I grew up in the United States and everything here is really modern. But living in Girona must be amazing, especially in the old part where we were staying. Girona is known for food. It is a foodie city. It has been for a very long time. So people come here really to eat a lot of amazing tapas, amazing just jamon. It is absolutely a food paradise in Girona. The olive oils are local. They are absolutely delicious. The local wines are absolutely delicious. I couldn't get enough of them. And walking around the alley streets at night, looking at these old buildings, man, I really knew I was on vacation. I knew I wasn't home anymore. And this is such an amazing city. If you are a fan of road cycling on the professional level, if you like meeting cyclists who are racing in the Tour de France, this is a city you should come and see between any big races, because over 100 pro riders call Girona their home. Team Education First, headed up by Jonathan Vaughters, calls Girona their home. It is apparent. There are so many pink jerseys around here, it is insane. And if you are somebody who loves professional road cycling and you would love to be hanging out next to all of these racers, Girona is the place to go. Plan your vacation between big races, and most of the races will be here. On one of our last days, we were sitting at Cafe Federal. This is an amazing little spot to get some breakfast. I'd highly recommend it. And we were sitting as a group, and we wanted to get a group photo, and there was a guy a table away who was just drinking his coffee, being very quiet, and we asked if he wouldn't mind taking our picture. And he said, sure, as long as I don't have to get up. And he showed us his crutches, so we brought him the phone, and he took us this picture. Nice group picture. Turns out the dude who took our picture was Robert Gessing. Oh my God, we were just like sitting next to him. He was nice enough, he took a picture of us. Then he was telling us how he broke his femur at Liège, Bastogne, Liège. His wife came over, we started talking to her. They were telling us how he opened a restaurant in Girona, and it was like our last day. Oh, I would have loved to have gone to that restaurant, but we didn't have enough time. But this is the kind of town that Girona is. So back to how did Girona become the cycling Mecca? Well, it was Lance. His 7 victories in the Tour, his training on Els Angels and climbing Rocacoba, And doing all of those rides around Girona built a folklore about the area. He built Girona. He made it a cycling destination. So coming up, I'm going to do a couple of destination videos. One of them is Els Angels, which is also known as the Lance Armstrong Loop. And if you want to add a little bit more, there's a Hincapie Bump, which has about another few hundred vert of climbing. Also coming up, I got an interview with Amber Meyer. She is Christian Meyer's wife, and together they started the service course. They also own La Fabrica, which is a cafe, and they own Espresso Mafia, which is a coffee roasting company. I interviewed her, and it is a phenomenal interview. I can't wait for you to learn more about how the service course really did get started. Also coming up, I rented my bike from Eat, Sleep, Cycle, and all my friends rented theirs from the service course. So I am going to compare the two different experiences and break it down for which one might be a better experience for you. Well, I think that just about covers it. Girona, Spain, a couple of videos that I have coming up, and why it became the cycling capital of the world. If you like this episode, give it a thumbs up. If you're new to my channel, hit that subscribe button. And as always, I'm on YouTube, I'm on Instagram, I'm on Facebook, sometimes on Twitter. And until the next time, I hope to see you out there on the road, maybe in Girona.